Hey everyone, so before this review starts, I'd just like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I hope all of you are having an awesome Christmas and also a safe, but yet an exciting New Year as we march forward to 2018. And with all that being said, on with the review.
You just made the list!
Hello, my name is the Gaming Critic. I review video games with no regrets whatsoever. And after years, and years, and years of waiting, Crash Bandicoot finally makes its return to video games. Motherfucker! Oh, hell yeah. Many Crash Bandicoot fans thought that the Crash Bandicoot series was officially dead, and we could never see a new Crash Bandicoot game ever again. Until we witnessed E3 2016, when it was announced that all three original Crash games, Crash Bandicoot 1, Cortex Strikes Back, and Warped, will be remade from the ground up on PlayStation 4. And of course, a lot of people, including myself, was all aboard for the hype train, and even though I did have some doubts about this game, I still couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And now being able to hold this game in my hands, I can already feel the good old nostalgia days taking over my mind. But, as always, I will do my best and throw nostalgia out the window, so that I can give you guys and gals a serious review. So, can this game somehow be better than the original? Well, there's only one way to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy. Published by Activision and developed by Vicarious Visions, Crash Bandicoot N Sane Trilogy was released in 2017 and was released on PlayStation 4. There's two things I want to talk about before I start the review. First off, for those who are wondering, this is not a remastered edition. This game is, put simply, a remake. Just wanted to clarify. And two, I won't be talking about the story, since I'm pretty sure most of you watching know what the story is about. The way how I'm going to structure this review is I'll first be talking about the first Crash Bandicoot game, then Cortex Strikes Back, then finally, Warped. I'll try to keep each one nice and quick, so this video doesn't go into overtime. And I'll also give a score to all the three Crash Bandicoot games individually, and towards the end of the video, I'll give this game a score as a whole, based on its presentation and attention to detail. So with that being said, let's start off the review with Crash Bandicoot 1. My first reaction to this intro is wow. Looking at the intro, you get an understanding of what the rest of the game is going to be like. I personally believe that the intro hypes up players to get ready for what any game has in store, and if the intro is flat and not interesting, then the chances are the players are just gonna put the controller down and never play that game again. This intro, however, is just fun to watch. The bright colors, the recreated cutscenes, and some top-notch voice acting really complements this game as a whole. Looking at the map, and I'm already excited to playing this game once again. As for how the game looks, it looks absolutely stunning. The designs of each level are beautiful, and they all fit pretty well with the next-gen consoles. One of the things I love about this game is that the controls are more tighter than the original. Cause in the original Crash game, the controls were pretty slippery, making platforming a bit frustrating. But in here, the controls are a lot more tighter, and because of that, I actually had a more better playthrough on the Sane Trilogy rather than the original. When I first played as Crash, I did notice that he is a bit more heavier when you move and jump with him, but once you get used to it, it's really not that bad. The bonus stages have improved. No more if you die on a bonus stage, you don't get to save the game. The bonus stages are treated as they should have been treated in the original. Bonus stages. Nothing more and nothing less. Also, I just love the detail they added with Torna. And because the bonus stages are treated as bonus stages, you can save the game whenever you want. Again, something that they should have added in the original. As for the difficulty, they did keep the challenge that made Crash 1 great, but I did find myself stuck in certain levels that were easy to get past in the original. There is something that I need to bring my attention to, and that is the loading screens. I don't usually have a problem when it comes to loading screens, unless if they are too long. The loading screens here are pretty cheap if you ask me. A black background, some text for the name of the level and hints, and Aku Aku just floating around as if he's high on drugs or something.
I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
As for the bosses, it is what you'll expect. Not much challenge and it is still pretty easy. Especially with Papu Papu, despite the extra hits they added, but man, the little details they added to each boss is just perfect. But overall, I really enjoyed playing Crash Bandicoot, and for that reason, Crash Bandicoot gets 8 out of 10. And I'll know I'll get a few hate comments if I say this, but I prefer playing Crash Bandicoot on the Sane Trilogy rather than the original Crash Bandicoot game. Now don't get me wrong, Crash Bandicoot is a good game back in its prime, and it is still an instant classic to this very day, but in some strange way, I feel that this game is a bit outdated compared to Cortex Strikes Back and warped in my opinion. But now with the small improvements, this game is a great experience for anyone who wants to start playing platform games. So, with that done, let's move on to one of my favorite video games of all time, Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. Oh, hell to the fucking yeah. Seeing how Cortex Strikes Back is my favorite game of all time, in my opinion, I was looking forward to playing this game the most. The intro is once again good. Added in those extra details is really nice to watch. Lex Lane does do a good performance as Cortex in all 3 Crash games. In my opinion, Clancy Brown does do a better performance as Cortex back in the original, as he was more intimidating. But I still liked Lex Lane's performance. Once I started the Total Woods level, the nostalgia had completely taken over me, and I was just playing this game for hours and hours and hours. And it felt awesome. My favorite levels in the Sane Trilogy is the Ruin level. It looks very scary and the design is well executed. The new feature that this game offers is that you can now play as Coco through all the 3 Crash Bandicoot games as platforming. And the only difference between this game and Wrath of Cortex is Coco plays just like Crash. The sliding, the spinning, and the way how she platforms just works nicely. I especially love how they explain the whole playing Coco in Crash 1 and 2, because time travel from Warped. yeah. I haven't talked too much about the flaws yet, and I'll get to them right now. But take note that they're only just minor issues, so try not to take them seriously as they're just personal opinions of mine because I've been playing the original Crash games for a very long time. Except for the original Crash game, of course, as I've already mentioned in my Crash Bandicoot 1 review. For starters, I'm not much of a fan of the holograms as I was in the original. A few things are missing, including the audio disruption and the glitching. And the polar bear levels feels a bit more slower, and he doesn't move as smooth than the original. And the way how he moves from left to right just feels way off. The soundtrack in the Sane Trilogy is pretty awesome, mostly because they're all remixes, but they still stay true to the classics. However, some of the soundtrack doesn't fit the tone of the levels sometimes. The bosses are still pretty much the same, far too easy, except for Engine of course. Cortex still takes around 45 seconds to beat him, but I can appreciate the new animation that they added before you chase him. So, much like Crash Bandicoot 1, I enjoyed Cortex Strikes Back. The game looks good, and the controls are as tight as ever. A few details are missing, but it won't distract you because of the awesome gameplay that it offers. Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back gets 8 out of 10. So now we're 2 down and 1 to go. Let's not waste any more time and warp right into Crash 3. Once again, the intro is fun to watch, but there is something that I need to address. Right up to the part when you see Uka Uka for the first time, the environment around the Time Twister is bright. Maybe a bit too bright. Back in the original Crash Warp game, the tone was dark and it looks very spooky. Even seeing N Trophy in the background and revealing himself got me really scared when I was a kid, and it's even scary to this very day. But in here, all that is taken away and it's kinda ruined for me. But besides that, Crash 3 looks as good just as the others. The vehicle levels have improved when it comes to the controls. The Pura levels move more smoothly, and the jet skis are, well, slightly better. The controls are still pretty slippery, but I can see that they have tried to improve them. As for the motorbike levels are concerned, the motorbike itself does move better, but the way how the camera adjusts itself when Crash is about to jump off the ramp looks weird in my opinion. The bosses are kind of similar to the others, but they are enjoyable to fight against. Another round or two would have been nice, but it's still good nonetheless. There is a huge problem I have with one of the boss fights in Crash 3. And that, my dear viewers, is Dingo Dial. What? You thought I was going to put in that sound effect over Dingo Dial? Just like I've done it with all the other Crash Bandicoot reviews? Well, you're wrong. Never judge a book by its cover. Well, anyway, the boss fight with Dingo Dial was okay, don't get me wrong, but the problem starts at the end. When I beat Dingo Dial, I was waiting for him to say the iconic line that he said back in the original Crash 3 game, but nothing happened. They took away one of the most memorable lines in Warped. Really disappointing.
You thrashed me, mate. No worries.
but you'll soon be up against much worse.
And yes, I do believe that it is a huge issue, because remember, I'm reviewing this game based on its attention to detail. One more thing to talk about, and that would be the relics. Now, I've already explained in my Crash 3 review that I'm not a fan of the relics, as I think that the relics ruined Crash 3 for me. And what do I think about them here? Well, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually love the relics in Sane Trilogy. And there's a reason for this, and that's because the relics have a purpose. For starters, they are not required for the 100% completion outside of Warped. Another reason why I like it is they are required to get a platinum trophy. Nowadays in video games, getting all the achievements and trophies are a pretty big deal, and because the relics are required to get a platinum, it brings in some replay value and a challenge for anyone who's trying to get a platinum. To all of you who is trying to get a platinum on all 3 Crash games, I say, good luck. You will definitely need it. Especially in Crash Bandicoot 1. Overall, Warp does lack the most when it comes to detail, but just like the first 2 Crash games, the gameplay is fun and the graphics looks good as always. And so for that reason, Crash Bandicoot Warped gets 7 out of 10. It's Crash 3. What do you expect? It's just as good as the original Warp game, and looking at the visuals and the graphics and listening to the soundtrack, it's still an enjoyable experience. So now I've covered all 3 Crash Bandicoot games, what do I think about this game as a whole? Well, first, I'm glad that Vicarious Visions haven't messed up while developing this game, because keep in mind that the last Crash game they developed on consoles was Crash Nitro Kart, and that game was nothing more than an exact copy clone of Crash Team Racing, but much worse. At the end of the day, I believe that Vicarious Visions have given us an impressive, recreated 3 Crash Bandicoot games that we all know and hold to our hearts very dearly. If I was forced to say what was the best Crash game out of the trilogy, you'd think I would say Cortex Strikes Back, seeing that it is my favorite game of all time, right? Well, actually, I'm gonna give the edge to Crash Bandicoot 1. Because with all the improvements with the tighter controls and being able to save the game whenever we want to, it's given us a more enjoyable or even a better Crash Bandicoot experience rather than the original game, in my opinion. And sure, I'll probably will stick to the original Crash games from here on out, since I grew up with them as a kid. But after playing this game, I'll definitely be coming back for the Sane Trilogy. One more thing I need to say to Vicarious Visions. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving us all 3 Crash Bandicoot games that we grew up playing over the years, and not screwing it up. Because if they had screwed it up, then this game would have come back to haunt them. Vicarious Visions have excelled as game developers compared to their earlier work, and I look forward to what surprises they have for us in the future. Maybe we can see a remake of Crash Team Racing. Or maybe we can see a remake of a certain purple dragon we've been waiting so patiently. Well, we'll just have to wait and see what they have in store. So, whenever if you liked it or hated this game, there was one thing we can agree on. Crash Bandicoot is back in business. Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy gets 8 out of 10.
You haven't seen the last of me, Crash Bandicoot.
I actually found out something a while ago. Apparently, you can play PlayStation 1 games on PlayStation 3 consoles. The fuck if I knew that earlier, then I would have reviewed this game right after Crash Team Racing. Oh yeah, as a present to all of you for your support throughout 2017, I'm happy to announce that the next game I'm going to review is the long and anticipated review you've been waiting for, Crash Bash. Thank you for watching this review, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe today. My name's the Gaming Critic, telling you to have yourself a Merry Christmas. Wow, that review took longer than I predicted. Well, besides that, I just want to take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you for your outstanding support throughout 2017. I wasn't expecting to make it this far, but seeing you guys leaving comments down below whenever it's giving me advice or saying good video and keep up the good work, it really does make my day. And I do hope that we can continue our journey and adventures together in 2018. I only ask of you to please share this channel around with your mates, as the spread of word can really go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. Anyway, this video has gone on too long as it is already, so thank you for watching, and thank you for an amazing year, and I'll see you all in 2018.